Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to another installment in the Quick View series. Another journey over to Pallet Town as we must catch 'em all. Another tire, another test, another run through the protocol. Our second go-round from Upgrade RC, the Razor Wire. They released two tires pretty much simultaneously, a Class 2 called the Rock Claw, which we have tested previously. So I apologize in advance for any sort of callbacks I make to that test if you haven't seen them. I am recording them and uploading them relatively close to one another, so memories of the Rock Claw are reasonably fresh in my mind and have influenced what we've been going forth on the test. They come just as the Rock Claw did. Single stage, open cell, white, non-memory foam, standard foam, which worked really well in the Rock Claw. I don't think we'll do as well in this because our Class 3 test platform is about a pound heavier than our Class 2 platform. So what I did is I mounted up a tire with this foam in it and kind of just went like that. It took no pressure at all to just collapse the sidewall all the way over. So it would be a hyper prioritization of forward drive in exchange of, in my estimation, having tested a couple of tires over everything else. Everything else would be right out the window. Luckily, very luckily for us, the Tim dual stage is an ever popular choice here at the Canyon, and I would like you to notice, like, they are basically the exact same size. So I did the same thing. I did this. I test fitted one of the Razor Wires on a Tim, and it fits, one might say, perfectly. It is going to make the tire probably 2 or 3 millimeters wider than it would be on the single stage. I'm 100% okay with that. I think that wider is better all the way up until the point where it isn't. Which means if you're never trying to pass through a gate, you will get a little bit of steering scrub on a particularly wide tire like a Rover, Chisel, any of those exotic hieroglyphic style tires. But other than that, I still, despite having seen more than one instance in the past where a tire did very well being very skinny, popping to mind the Pitbull Braven Blood Axe, which is cartoonishly thin, 36 millimeters wide. They did really well, but the whole time I was testing it, all I could keep thinking was, would it have done better if it was 47 millimeters wide? And in general, it probably would have. Mounting up the previous Upgrade RC offering was fairly easy. It gave me a little red light fever mounting the fourth one in the video. These, as they are going on dual stage, mean there's no foam to try to slip under the beadlock ring and give you trouble. So these mount up pretty easily if I can get the whole of the flange lined up. I see, probably right there. Yeah, I had no bead issues on these at all. They mounted right up. Now, we are looking at a tire that they have advertised as Class 3, which is anything 4.76 or larger. And it is a distinction that is somewhat immaterial. Nowadays, in the current climate, I'm surprised that it isn't an LP. I'm surprised that it's not a 2.2 inch wheel and a 5.25 inch tire. That's the current everything old is new again hotness, because I mean the 2.2 Canyon Trail is a 2.2 LP. So now we're seeing a lot of 2.2 LPs, and that's great because there's a lot. Platforms are kind of growing. We're getting a lot of things 13-inch wheelbase, 13.5-inch wheelbase. they kind of trend more towards that 5.2, 5.3, 5.4 inch tire. So we're seeing a semi-renaissance of 1.9 boggers, of the Genius series of tires from RC four-wheel drive. J Concepts with a whole slew of them. We are still waiting for a 5.25 LP Megalithic, which is honestly the tire that I'm waiting for. The Upgrade RC Razor Wire is that big. It's a little big for a 1.9. It's a lot of small if it were a 2.2. It is roughly the size of a 1.9 J Concepts Rupture. It is spot on 130 millimeters tall, which is 5 1/16 inches. That number will vary depending on what insert you apply to it. And a little bit of a callback. Compared to the previously tested Rock Claw, this carcass is not as thin. The Rock Claw was way fair thin, 1 millimeter thick on the carcass, which is about twice as thick as that fingernail. That fingernail is 0.48 millimeters thick. So, I mean, file that away. I measured the punch outs. Let's see if I can get some to stick to my fingers. There we go. There's the punch outs where I ventilate the tires. They are 1.3 millimeters thick. So the carcass on the Razor Wire is 30% thicker than the carcass on the Rock Claw. Honestly, still, and we're looking at, I would say 47.5. You could maybe call it 48, which is just a hair below an inch and, just a hair below an inch and 7/8. And they say 1.85. That is exactly as advertised. They say 5.0 by 1.85, and it would be 1.875 if it were 1 7/8. So yeah, good on you. This foam, if you are looking for that little bit taller of a tire, you're not restricted by the regulations of Class 2, where you have to stick strictly to something 4.75 inches or lower. This is probably outfitted with this a little bit more acceptable, because then you're probably looking at some sort of cab build, some sort of truggy build, or a buggy build that can benefit from that little bit more tire height. Now, the aforementioned and aforetested Rock Claw was not that much shorter than this, like 3/16 of an inch shorter. It measured almost 4 7/8. So, but it's marked 475. So, if you are constrained and restrained by those sorts of regulations, then you're okay, because I don't think they go by a physical measurement. They go by what it says on the sidewall. These are inarguably in that category. That category. You know the category I speak of, what we call hieroglyphics. HPI with the slash, rovers, chisels, Moabs, the original Losi Rock Claw, ruptures, any of the tire with this type of relieved, open, non-directional, hieroglyphic style lugs. That tends to be the lug style that trends towards pure performance. And again, early callback based on what we saw with the Rock Claw, which was not the Losi one, the Upgrade RC one. Naming a tire the Rock Claw when it is not that long since Losi was making the Rock Claw is an interesting choice, particularly as it's a semi-scale tire. Like it's designed to have a scalish looking lug in the vein of a Proline Crawler, which is a BF Goodrich, something like that. It's semi-scale, an unlicensed semi-scale. Calling that the Rock Claw when another Rock Claw already exists is kind of a trip. Razor Wire is also an interesting name choice. I'm on board. I'm on board with the Razor Wire. But they could have flipped it. I just thought they could have had the Razor Claw and the no, Rock Wire doesn't sound very good. Anyway, these should do well. I make an effort to temper expectations before we head out to rock, but I saw how well the 1.9 Class 2 Rock Claw did. I'm looking at the perfect amount of static bag on these on a dual stage. The biggest suffering that the Rock Claw did was it was not strong in side hilling, and the thing that tends to mess with you in side hilling is this. It prioritizes forward drive, and that tire had forward drive all day with a lower lug, not a hieroglyphic lug. So I can't help the hopes but be high. We're going to run through the Class 3 protocol, which is a little tougher than the Class 2 protocol, and we will see how the razor wire indeed does. And I'm trying to squash it down. Like, don't saddle it with those expectations. But at the same time, it's the same exact super soft compound that we tried in the other one. It is a perfectly fitting foam, and the outer on a Tim Tin is pretty much this exact same density. These should do really well. Let's see what the rocks think. 5 1/16. Put you on Wolverine. Put you on a Class 3 protocol. This is one of the shorter tires. Like, he ran some of the discontinued stuff. Like, I want to say it was Moabs or Rock Claws. One of the real, like, in the line of Rovers, fat boys, but fairly short, like barely 5 inches tall. This is more along the lines of an LP. It's a little narrower than a Rupture, a 1/9 Rupture. Little micro hesitations, and we are brand new. The tire and the insert will take a few moments to seat together. Yeah, my first inclination was run the dual stage. Yeah. It goes pretty easy. Little drop there. Seeing a decent amount of sidewall wrinkle come up, not surprising. Even these being thicker than the upgrade Rock Claw, they're thin. This is thin. If it's this thin, it is a rock crawling tire, and I would not recommend it for anything else. Get down real low. Yeah. It's nothing I would not anticipate. Harder, more up the center. Want the straight? Yeah, okay. We're gonna go 2/10. We're gonna go 2/10. The difference between a 2/10 reduction here and a 1/10 reduction here is those little moments of slip, those little hesitations. Like, honestly, this is probably gonna bode well for the tire across the full test, because we don't have this overwhelming amount of forward drive, which is possibly the insert a little bit. I'm not sure who would be precisely suited to the included insert. Something, but 9 times out of 10, if you have a sidewall of this height on a 1.9 wheel, it's too much sidewall for a single stage. Single stage you can get away with, like on Class 1s, like all the time. Very little sidewall. If this were a 2.2, maybe still a little tall. Oh, 52, 12, 90. About 52 degrees Fahrenheit, 12 degrees Celsius, 90% relative humidity. Yeah. It's moments like that, the little push across there, which brings always to mind, oh, they get better when they break in. Every tire gets better when it breaks in. I've yet to meet a tire that once the lug starts to feather, it just gets bad. Tires go on a bell curve. There's a point of perfect traction. They start off at a certain point on the curve, Maybe not all the way at the bottom. They start off at a certain point, they go up, and then the traction will be maximized at a certain point, and then after that they will begin to fall off, and the rate at which they fall off is indeterminate. It varies by tire, by setup, by basically every variable you can conceive of. So how a tire performs out of the package is a direct indicator of how it is going to perform for the rest of its life. You take tire A and you take tire B, and if tire A has superior performance fresh out of the plastic relative to tire B, it is going to have superior performance to tire B for the rest of its lifetime. There may be some outliers that defy that, but I haven't met it yet. Almost managed to wrap that. We're just going to stay on the wrap here and see if we get a flop out of it. Yeah, we will. We will. Okay, so we'll go up a little tighter side here. Yeah. Yes, yes. Oh, that was really good. That was really good. Give me one more straight cut. You notice the stability level, right? Like, we're not getting a lot of wheel lifts, which means we're getting just the right amount of deflection. There's a good wheel lift. See that driver rear dug in? But we have enough forward drive to overcome it. And bop. Yeah, that's really good. The inclination is, as always, 2/10. It's tough. All things considered, all steps of the protocol considered, it's tough to punch above a 98. 98 is rarefied air. My dream is, of course, a tire leaderboard overpopulated with 98s. So with this tire, on this rig, at this width, on a dual stage of proven performance, we should have little problem here. Never even picked it up. Never even picked it up. The question that runs through my mind is future performances. Would this foam then be overly firm for something much lighter? This guy's 3,000 grams, 3 kilos, so 6.6. And this foam is near perfect, and an off-the-shelf, out-of-the-bag foam that's near perfect. It's kind of what we're looking for, is it not? Yeah, it's got just the right amount of support. We haven't traded in all of the forward drive. I mean, it's tough to trade in your forward drive when you have a hieroglyphic style tire. I do enjoy that we've kind of agreed upon rupture-esque. Tires like ruptures, despite the rupture coming along after many of them were already out. But thanks, shout as always to J Concepts while reviewing a different tire from a different manufacturer for not stopping making the rupture. It was basically banned by certain governing bodies immediately, and they kept making it anyway. And we have to appreciate that, because most of the best tires we've ever seen are now tires of times gone by because they got banned. If not for the, as of this recording, if not for the mindset change of certain rulemaking bodies, this tire would be banned as soon as they put it in a bag, and that's ridiculous. New school LP Tusk rules. This tire is a 98 until I say different. We're operating from a basis of 9.8 per obstacle. Absolutely no hesitation there. We come around, little baby slip. That's an in between the wheelbase thing. Nope, that was a hook. Did you see that? Did you see the power doodle bug? That was an attempt to bump, but the rear pumpkin was bound in. So we just pivoted around the rear axle because the tires were just adhered to the ground. Cuts back. Now if we cut back the other way, very good. Any slip there? No. The steering precision is really, really high, courtesy of a dual stage insert. We had a little push, and then we'll cut right there. Responsiveness is really high. Responsiveness is similar to we have another incidental. This is really looking good for Upgrade RC and their tire offerings. The included foam with the Rock Claw did fantastic. Slapping a dual stage into this is doing tremendous. Again, a little too big to put a Canyon Custom in it. I would have had to fashion a custom 3 wraps of fridge foam would likely fill these out, but it might be 4 wraps. And I don't tend to like to go to do 4 wraps because the layers of fridge foam will kind of squidge off of each other. So, let's see. Yeah, there is no unpredictability at all. Super maneuverable. They're getting better. It's not until we get in moments to the hard stuff that we're going to see, like, where does that traction fall off if it does? I think the absolute number is 42. I don't particularly care for any tire narrower than 42 millimeters. And that is considering a tire up to, say, about maybe 475, 465, maybe 475. Anything bigger, I think like that 46, 47 is the sweet spot. This tire is like, I think this tire would not particularly benefit from being significantly wider, and I don't think it would benefit at all from being narrower. Easy peasy, too easy. Headed over towards too easy of a line. I want to go back to that and take a line closer to the fence. Yeah, the cheap dual stage is absolutely the jelly and the jam. There are no drawbacks. Inexpensive. Control on the descent. We're getting very minimal tire lift at any point, so I want to hug tighter to fence. Yeah, pulls up easy right there. Didn't quite get, okay. There's that maneuverability again. Oh, easy stuff. Getting that lift because we're overloading, but we're not. 3-wheel motion on the climb there. Sets it back down, hug fence line side. Just articulating well. We should get minimal rebound. Come a little wider here. A little bit more of a drop off right there. Drops off again right there. Oh, I mean, it's really good. And this is not a guy that I would typically run a 1.9 on. I like to, at this wheelbase, at this size, Capra width, I like to be about a 5 1/4. I like to be an LP. So these aren't that. These are 5 1/16. So we're not talking a huge reduction. We're talking probably a slight improvement in CG all around. It's just gonna go. It's just gonna go. Yeah. It's just gonna go. There were like a cat. Oh, we smushed the insert in passenger front. Took a little ride to the side on that. We'll call that a descent. If you landed on your wheels, you were descending. If you land upside down, you fell. We're doing the blind side approach. Yeah. Okay. So, what you have seen here, that is how you build a 1/10 reduction. So, no longer a 98. We are now ending on a 98.1 as of arriving here. We're moving up. You've got to show me extremes to approach a 99. This tire is almost certainly, I can't see a reason this will end below a 98. I don't think it can. I don't see any deductions coming to this tire. I see only additions. Okay, big drop right here. Really, really good. Again, there is that coincidence of combo. We've got the tire, we've got the insert, we've got the rig. They are performing in concert. These are doing extraordinarily well. They really are. So on the day, I see no drawbacks. There's just that ever-looming question mark. Like I said, it's 52 degrees. This is the height and the heart of predator weather. Meaning the temperature is not impacting the compound negatively in any way. Like, an argument could potentially be made about the 95% relative humidity, but I've found that most tires are okay all the way up until glistening wet on the rocks. Super dry, I think, hurts everyone equally. And super hot, obviously varies by compound. A little bit of grab there. We have just a level of control. These are really good. These feel exactly like 2.2 LP ruptures, which is high praise indeed. And more options, always better, as the 2.2 LP rupture is perpetually out of stock. It is becoming increasingly difficult to find. Availability is definitely something to take into consideration with a tire. Yeah, I can throw these dual stages around. He's a bit wide. Let's get the other side. There we go. He's a bit wide, but I'm not looking at strictly the ability to maneuver through a gate. I'm looking at the ability to maneuver through the gate. Like, we can hit the gates. We're not getting scored on that. We're getting scored on the other things. I want to see one more thing. Yeah. I'll give it another, we're going to give it another bump right there. I mean, come on, right? Am I right or am I right? I'm going to give it another bump there. We're now looking at a 98.2. That's a 9.9 on there. It did absolutely everything. Under control all the time. 98.2, only looking up. I anticipate zero issue here. We'll go right-hander there and cut. No hesitation. We'll go left-hander, soft side. Right across the point, like one of the harder ways to get up through that. And then straight gut shot, class 3, absolutely no problem. Like, not just no problem, zero hesitations on the way up. What if we boof the entry, get too far out that way? Yes, sir. 98.3. I'm gonna go 99 on that. Because we just, we can gross it. Just use too much speed. Low speed is what we're looking for, but if we can just gross it up, then that's a lot of drive. It won't really pop. We can't really kick it out. Just so flat. Give me really oblique. Give me a bad one. Yeah. We have plenty of forward drive. Yeah. You don't have to use a lot of thrust to bump. Can't really get the big high kick, which is what we want to see. No big high kick. I'm gonna go 9.8. I'm gonna go 9.8. So we're still sitting at 98.3. The temptation to go another tenth, to go to a 9.9, I know it's the insert. I know it's the insert helping that tire out a lot. The insert's been helping the tire out a lot all the way. We've got a tenth to play with before we get to the end, for sure. If it kills on entry and just cleans this, easy 9.8. I'm just gonna judge by effort required. We're not gonna get that transfer, are we? No, we're not. Okay, little high. We'll jostle back towards the worst place to be, right out on that face, slipping, sliding. It's ever so slightly, ever so slowly. Is it gonna slide down before it sets down? Steering inputs are not our friend right here. There we go. There it is right there. There it is right there. When you can feel it, I feel it. When you can feel it that early, oh, we're gonna go. We're gonna go. It wants it. Okay, nobody has that. Nobody has that approach. We only have one test left. Let's not break it before. I just want to see it one more. I just want to see it one more. We came in and it was a little narrow in the line so early through, right there. I got to the same spot. We're kind of overloaded. Yeah. So we don't have as much forgiveness as we can get from others. We do have a preponderance of maneuverability. We're at 98.4 on the cusp of 98.5. Realistically, this tire is probably going to end at a 98.5. 98.6. 98.6 might still be out there. Nothing left but the wet. A truly remarkably consistent performance. We have seen the recent releases of tires from a various number of makers, and they have all been womp. Like, of the new releases, this is way out there. This is above even Rock Block and Boss Man, the two new releases from J Concepts. This is genuinely good. There are the question marks hovering above it, which is why we can't immediately discount releases like the Boss Man and the Rock Block, which are green. We know what green does. We don't know what Red Dot Super Soft from Upgrade RC does. When it's, instead of 10 degrees or 12 degrees Celsius out here, what happens when it's 35 degrees Celsius? Endura S5 is tremendous right now. 50 degrees Fahrenheit, high humidity. What is it like 95 degrees and 20% humidity? There's no hesitation. I want it more. Still none. Yeah, we don't need to spend a lot of time sawing back and forth in the wet, to be completely honest. The Upgrade RC razor wire in super soft compound ends its day with a 98.5. 98.5 ties it with the 2.2 inch white HB Rover hieroglyphic tire. The 2.2 J Concepts LP Rupture in the 5 1/4 size, and of course J Concepts green. The 2.2 RC 4-wheel drive Genius Semfrontera fitted with custom-made 3D printed inserts, and that tire is an X2 SS. Upgrade RC. In your super soft compound, you find yourselves in undeniably elite company. If you're mentioned in the same words with X2 SS and J Concepts green, you're doing okay. Is this the highest scoring 1.9 tire? It is, and it beats out the previously highest scoring 1.9 tire, which was the other tire from Upgrade RC. That's your first at bat in the major leagues is a triple, and then your second at bat is a home run. Like, your slugging percentage is off the charts. Now, the other shoe is levitating in the air waiting to drop. Are these going to predator us? Which means the first day we come out here, and it's coming up next week. It's coming up in the following weeks relative to this recording. In the next 4 or 5 days, we're going to see 90 degrees plus out here midday. So we got to do the same thing that we've done. I'm running out of 1.9 beadlocks. They're all mounted into tires. The Endura S5 Klingons are still mounted up because we need to see how they do in the heat. These will have to stay mounted up to see how they do in the heat. The other Upgrade RC, the Rock Claw, we have to see how that does in the heat, because that is absolutely impactful. To be fully honest, the days we have where the morning where you wake up and it is this perfect, I mean, yeah, it's Southern California. We have quite a lot of them. But then we have a span of about 5 months where pretty much every every S5 compound tower we've tested has not worked. But the Klingon is basically the same pattern as is on this tire. Can that tread block pattern overcome the compound's inability to resist heat? I don't know. We need heat to find out. So at some point in the future, we'll see them. We'll just cram them all into a video together, and it'll be like Tire Quickview Hot Day Revisited, and we'll get to see how these really thin, really soft, probably very aggressive compounds do in heat, because all compounds fall off in heat. Above around 100 degrees on the rocks Fahrenheit, I don't know what that is in Celsius, I'm not close enough to my fancy thermometer. Above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, every tire falls off. There isn't a tire that doesn't. It's where they fall off. Some tires can make it into the 90s fairly comfortably, at least into the upper 80s. We have tested tires out here on rocks with temperatures up to, on the rocks, 150 degrees. And at that point, virtually every tire turns into glass. It just slides like glass. So we'll find that out. For today, on the leaderboard, this tire is a 98.5, which will put it in a tie for 5th place. Top 10. I want to say the other tire, I want to say the Rock Claw's in the top 10 as well. Good on ya, Upgrade RC. Temperature is the only thing we need to find out. But for the rest of you, now they are sold, I'm pretty sure, exclusively through AMain. So if you're in some other part of the world, like say you live in Scotland, I don't know if you can get a hold of these. That was a terrible Scottish accent. I should have apologized in advance. But you could run these year-round, I guarantee, and they would grab. So, I don't know. Availability, question mark. Resistance to temperature, question mark. We'll find those things all out in between now and when we meet again. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Who knows? Thank you so much for joining us for this one. Upgrade RC. Another company just came out with 2 tires. And, But, you know, I am not paid. I am not sponsored. The Canyon, these sorts of episodes are brought about by viewers like yourself. We are tiny toy car rock crawler PBS. Member supported, member driven. Member money gets wasted on frivolities like batteries, tires, stuff to build rigs to give away. That's how we do it here. So I have no skin in the game as to whether upgrade RC tires are good or bad. I want them to be good. I want them all to be good. Sadly, that is not the case. You have to have bad ones to realize what the good ones are, I guess? I don't know. Canyon recommended. Give them a try. $29.99 a pair. And, last I checked, in stock. So maybe they'll hold you over until you can get the ruptures that you're waiting for. I'm still waiting on ruptures. And 525 megalithics. These will absolutely do for now. Pretty good upgrade, RC. Pretty good start.